Welcome to the Lifetime Assembly channel. My name is John, and today I'm going to help you assemble your Big Stuff Deluxe swing set. Before we get started, make sure the model number of your swing set is listed in the description below. This video will follow the steps outlined in the assembly manual that comes with the swing set. If you've already begun and need help on a specific step, check the comments or description below for a timestamp associated with each step. The swing set comes in several pieces and boxes, so let's take a look at what you should have received. There are steps within this assembly that require more than one person, so be sure to have at least one other person for this build. Before we get into the assembly process, let's take a look at the tools you'll need to complete the job. You'll need a ladder, a Phillips bit, which is included, 2 half-inch wrenches, a drill. You may see us use an impact driver. If you decide to use one as well, be sure not to over-torque or over-tighten the hardware, a Phillips screwdriver, 2 3/16 Allen keys, which are included, a 3/8 drill bit, a rubber mallet, a tape measure, a hammer, a socket wrench, a 1/4-inch drill bit, and safety glasses. To make this easier, we're going to use a 3/16 hex head bit, a socket adapter, and a 1/2-inch socket. When building your swing set, make sure to choose a level area free from any obstructions and at least 7 feet from buildings, trees, fences, or any other object. Also, when building your swing set, it's important that you prepare a shock-absorbing surface to build your swing set on, such as recycled rubber mulch or wood chips. This video will focus on the assembly of the swing set and not the shock-absorbing surface, so it's important that you refer to your assembly manual to review the safety instructions for this build. This video is meant to be used as a companion to the assembly manual and not a direct replacement, so for the best results, make sure to have the assembly manual on hand during the build. Alright, let's get started. Take your swing bar and attach 6 pendulums to the brackets. Make sure not to over-tighten this hardware. You want the pendulums to swing freely. A lot of the poles look similar, so make sure to refer to your instruction manual to verify that you have the correct poles. Take the top A-frame pole and the bottom A-frame pole and slide them together and then secure with the hardware. Only add hardware to this hole. Make sure your swing bar is oriented like this and then add your A-frame leg. Before adding the hardware, make sure that this small hole is facing out. Again, refer to your instruction manual to confirm you're using the correct poles for this step. Slide the poles together and then insert the hardware. But before you add the hardware, make sure that these small holes are on the same side. Add the pole to the swing bar, making sure that the small holes are facing out. On the pole with the warning label, add the foot cap, making sure it's oriented like this. Take your trapeze swing bar and attach the pendulums to the brackets with the hardware. Attach the cap to this end of the trapeze bar, making sure that the holes are lined up and then secure with the plugs. Take the two ladders and attach the foot caps to this end of the ladders. Attach the gussets to the opposite end, making sure they're oriented like this. You may find it easier to attach the gussets with the ladder slightly elevated. To make future steps easier, I find it helpful to finger tighten this hardware for now. Place the saddle caps at the top of the ladder. Then attach the gussets to the monkey bar with the hardware. Now tighten all the hardware that's attached to the gusset. Repeat the previous steps for the other ladder. Take the end caps and insert them into the end of the monkey bars. With the help of another person, stand the monkey bars onto its feet. Place the trapeze swing bar over the top of the monkey bars. The orientation of the trapeze bar does matter, so locate the square tube on the ladder and make sure that the pendulums are on the right side. Attach the trapeze bar to the monkey bars with the hardware. Only finger tighten the hardware until you've got all 4 bolts in and then tighten them. With the help of another person, stand the swing bar assembly up and slide it onto the trapeze swing bar. On the ladder with the square tube at the top, attach the slide rails to each side. Attach the deck support to the slide rails with the hardware. Take your slide deck and drill out all of the holes except for the 2 on the outside end. Place your deck onto the support and secure with the hardware. Your slide comes in 2 pieces. Drill out the holes on the slide and then secure the 2 halves together with the hardware. Drill out the divots at the top of the slide with a 3/8 drill bit. With the help of another person, lift the slide onto the deck and secure with the hardware. At this point, you want to make sure that your playset is in its final location. Then measure 21 inches diagonally from each leg on the back ladder and place the anchoring rod where those lines intersect. Since we're inside, we're not going to be able to do that, but it's important that you do. When driving your anchoring rod into the ground, make sure to leave about half of it exposed. Next, slide the fire pole onto the anchoring rod. Slide the fire pole hoop onto the monkey bars and the fire pole and secure with the hardware. Refer to your instruction manual to ensure you're using the correct poles for this step. Connect the poles together and secure them with the hardware. Take your end caps and place them into the bottom of the long poles. Refer to your instruction manual to make sure you're using the correct tube for this step. Connect the rectangular tube to the poles, making sure that these small holes are facing in and that the small holes on the tube are facing down. Connect the cross braces to the pole and the tube through these holes. Insert the caps into the ends of the rectangular tube. Now flip the assembly over. Take the rectangular tube that doesn't have any hooks, make sure the Lifetime logo is facing out and that the tab at the top is facing in. Then secure with the hardware. Once the hardware is secure, go ahead and insert the cap at the end of the tube. Connect the cross brace to the tube and the pole through these set of holes. Connect the tube with the hooks, making sure they're facing up using the same method as the previous tube. Connect the other short rectangular tube to the long rectangular tubes, making sure that the small holes are facing down. Place the deck support in the frame, making sure the hooks are on the same side and facing up, then secure with the hardware. With the help of another person, lift the assembly up and place the deck against the A-frame assembly. Line up the holes in the deck with the hole in the A-frame assembly, secure with the hardware, and insert the cap. Take the ladder leg, which is a leg with these small holes, and place the cap on top. Align this hole at the front of the deck with the nut inside the leg and secure with the hardware. At the bottom of the leg, insert the foot cap and secure with the plugs. Take the ladder rungs and attach them to the A-frame pole and the ladder leg with the hardware. Take the cargo net leg and add the cap at the top. Lean it up against this pole, making sure to line up the hole, but don't add any hardware. The cargo net has two size loops, big loops and small loops. Take the 4 big loops on one side and slide them in order onto the pole from the previous step. Slide the 4 big loops on the other side onto the A-frame pole. While someone holds the cargo pole, take the 4 loops at the top of the cargo net and slide them onto the hooks at the back of the deck. Take the cargo net tube and slide it through the bottom 4 loops. Insert a foot cap and hardware into the A-frame pole and the cargo leg. Place the cap on the cargo tube and then line up the hardware with the nut on the tube. Place the deck panels up onto the deck. The deck panels have tabs, one that's higher and one that's lower. Make sure the tabs are in the middle and that the tab that's higher is on top of the tab that's lower. On all 4 corners of the deck, attach the handrail that only has one handhold through the end that only has one hole. Only finger tighten this hardware for now. Attach the handrail that has 2 handholds to the holes on the outside edge in the middle. Now you can tighten all the hardware. Finish securing the deck panels through the remaining holes. These screws are self-tapping, so they're designed to go through the metal in the underlying pole, so make sure your drill is fully charged and on the highest torque setting. Take the 2 deck tubes and insert the plug in each end, making sure that the notch in the plug lines up with the hole on the ends. Line up the holes in the deck tubes with the holes in the handrails and secure with the hardware. Now you can secure the cargo net leg to the deck. These two poles look very similar, but they are different. Locate the pole that has these three holes close together. Take this pole and make sure it's on the furthest edge away from the A-frame, and make sure that these three holes are on the opposite side of the cargo net. Line up the holes in the tube with the holes in the handrail and secure with the hardware. Take the other pole and make sure that the two small holes are closer to the ladder and that the three small holes are facing down. Line up the holes in the handrail and secure with the hardware. Secure this tube to the A-frame through this hole. Secure the roof frame to the tower pole with the hardware. Insert the cap at the top of the pole, making sure that the notches in the top of the cap line up with the holes in the pole, and then insert your plug on the outside. Take your climbing walls and drill out the 5 indentations on each edge. Orient a climbing wall like this, then take the longer of the two tubes and line up the hole in the tube with the middle hole in the wall panel. Insert a screw through the middle hole and into the tube. Insert the screws into the other two holes. There aren't any holes in the tube, but the screws are designed to go through the metal. Line up the hole at the end of the tube with the hole at the end of the wall panel and secure with the hardware. Take the other wall panel, make sure the large opening is on the opposite end of the previous panel, and secure it using the same method as before. With the help of another person, lift the climbing wall up against the deck. Attach the climbing wall panels to the pole, starting through the hole in the middle because there's already a pre-drilled hole. Once the center screw has been inserted, go ahead and insert the screws into the remaining holes, keeping in mind that you want to keep them in the middle of the pole. There are no pre-drilled holes, but the screws are designed to go through the metal in the underlying pole. Place the chalkboard up against the A-frame and secure through the 3 holes at the top. Secure the bottom of the chalkboard to the A-frame poles, making sure to add your spacer in between the pole and the chalkboard. Refer to your instruction manual to make sure you're using the correct tubes. Place this tube between these 2 tubes and secure with the hardware, making sure that they're oriented like this. Once the hardware has been tightened, go ahead and insert the cap, making sure that the notch in the cap lines up with the hardware. Repeat the previous step for the other side. Take your trusses and connect them at the top. Make sure that the small holes are facing up. Repeat this step 3 more times for a total of 4 trusses. Have one person hand you the trusses and secure to the round tubes from earlier with the hardware. Once the hardware is tight, go ahead and insert the cap into the end of the truss tubes, making sure that the notches on the cap line up with the hardware in the tube. Place your first set of roof panels onto the trusses, making sure that the tip of the trusses goes into this notch and then secure with the hardware. Now go ahead and add the lower roof panels. They will go underneath the previous roof panels, line up the holes, and secure with the hardware. Next to the ladder under the deck, there are a bunch of divots labeled with letters. With a 3/8 drill bit, drill out the letters L-I-M. With a 3/8 drill bit, drill out the 4 holes on each half of the slide. At the top of the slide, drill out the 3 divots. Put the 2 halves of the slide together and then secure with the hardware. With the help of another person, lift the slide onto the deck over the holes we drilled out previously. Secure the slide to the deck with the hardware. Attach a binocular bracket to this hole here with the hardware. Attach the binoculars to the bracket, but don't over tighten the hardware, it should move freely. Slide the hex head nut into the back of the wheel hub like this. Next, attach the wheel hub to these holes with the hardware. Place the wheel onto the wheel hub and then secure with the hardware. Be careful not to over tighten this hardware. Push the cap into the wheel until it's flush. Take a square tube and insert a cap into the end that only has 1 hole, making sure that the notch in the cap lines up with the hole on the tube. On the back side of the seat, line up the holes on the tube with the holes on the seat, making sure that the oblong hole is facing down. On the chain, there is an eye bolt that's longer and an eye bolt that's short. Insert the long eye bolt into the end of the seat that only has 1 hole and then secure with the hardware. Repeat these steps 2 times for a total of 3 seats. The rest of the eye bolts on the chains will be the same length. Line up the seats like this, add a bracket on the top and bottom, and secure them together going through the center hole from top to bottom. Once the hardware is tight, go ahead and place the cap over the top and secure with the hardware through the outer holes. Connect the eye bolts on the other side of the chain to the locations under the deck. The short eye bolt will go on this pole here. Next, attach the swings and the trapeze swing bar to the pendulums. Thank you for watching this video on how to assemble your Lifetime Big Stuff Deluxe swing set. If you found this video helpful, give us a thumbs up. For more content like this, subscribe to our channel. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to our customer service team and check out our other awesome products at lifetime.com.